ASMR Who, and today I want to show you these things. These are, as you can see, Doctor Who comics, 9th Doctor comics. These are from Titan Comics. And I have all 4 volumes, hardback volumes of the Titan Comics 9th Doctor range. Weapons of Mass Destruction, Doctormania, Official Secrets, and Sin Eaters. I picked these up a couple of months ago and filmed a video about them, which I had sort of just lying around, having been filmed for quite a while, but then I wasn't happy with it, so doing it again. But I picked these up from Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet have a big sale on, which as far as I'm aware is still ongoing. They've only added more items, where lots of things are very heavily discounted. Lots of, I don't know if it's just Doctor Who items, but certainly there are lots of Doctor Who items in the sale. So I noticed that these were, very heavily discounted, a couple of quid each. So it came to about £17, I think, for these 4. But when you consider that at retail, just one volume would have gone for £10, £12, it's fairly big savings overall. So if you're interested in anything like that, there's lots of comics and other things on there. Go to Forbidden Planet. Not that I'm necessarily trying to promote them too much, but a good sale is a good sale. There is a little bit of a postage packing fee, I believe, but but yeah, I wanted to talk about these. I got them. I didn't get them just for the sake of doing a video. I also wanted to read them, but I wanted to do a video as well. And it's been a while since I have read these, so forgive me if I'm not entirely certain about some of the storylines, because I think I do need to reread them. But I enjoyed all of these. But we'll start off. I'm not going to go through sort of page by page, of course. I want you guys to, I don't want to just rip off other people's work and show it to you completely. So if you're interested in these books, go and get them yourself. Get them in a hardback or paperback. But we'll flick through them a little bit. It's a little bit windy outside today. It's very nice and bright, but it's quite windy. So hopefully that shouldn't be too much of a problem. There shouldn't be too much other background noise, stuff like that. Before we start I also want to show you, I'm not going to share this really in the video, but I thought I would talk a little bit about my history with comics, Doctor Who comics in particular. I'm not much of a comic reader. I'm a fan of comics, but I haven't actually read all that many. But obviously, there's the comics in the Doctor Who magazine. When I was a kid, I used to get the Doctor Who Adventures kids magazine, which always had a little comic strip in it. So I've always enjoyed comics, but I've never really been properly into them. The only other proper Doctor Who comic release, Titan comic release I have is It's this Supremacy of the Cybermen, which I picked up a number of years ago now. This is in paperback. I think I prefer hardback. This is an interesting story, but for me sometimes it reads a little bit like bad fan fiction. And I don't think the art is always, that was meant to be David Tennant. Where else? Peter Capaldi said it's a Cyberman story with the 9th, 10th and 11th and 12th Doctors. Although they never meet, they're all just having their own separate stories. And the 12th Doctor generally looks pretty good, and the 9th Doctor generally looks pretty good. The 11th Doctor's very hit and miss, but the 10th Doctor, I don't think the 10th Doctor really looks good at all in this book. And I don't want to throw too much shade towards the artist. Ivan Rodriguez, Walter Giovanni, Alessandro Vitti, Tazio Bettin, the colorists, Nicola Riggi, and Enrica Aaron and Giolini. Hopefully I've not butchered those names too much. I don't want to bash on those people because it's better artwork than I could do. But sometimes it just doesn't quite hit. This is an interesting release. I don't know if that's in the sale. It might not be. Anyway, so we'll start off with Volume 1, Weapons of Past Destruction. Now, when Titan Comics first started publishing Doctor Who comics back in 2014, if I'm not mistaken, they started with a ongoing run of 10th Doctor, 11th Doctor and 12th Doctor stories, and so they had 3 ongoing lines basically. And then I'm not sure when exactly this came out, but they started to release sort of limited runs with like the 4th Doctor, the 8th Doctor, the 3rd Doctor and the 9th Doctor. So this first volume, Weapons of Past Destruction, it's basically that first 5-issue run collected into a volume, and then it was successful enough to warrant an ongoing 9th Doctor run, which is covered in the next 3 volumes. But this first one is just that initial 5-issue storyline. And yeah, I just think, especially when you compare it to the Supremacy of the Cybermen art, this is just, for me anyway, it's a lot more successful. I don't want to say it's better or stuff is worse, because again, I couldn't do artwork like that, but it's more successful for me personally. I prefer the artwork of Blair Shedd, Rachel Stott, and Anang Setiawan. Again, I've probably butchered that name, I do apologise. I mean, look at that. That is Christopher Eccleston. It's beautiful, but you get a little bit of introduction as to the 3 characters, where they're at previously. So this basically tells you this adventure happens between the Doctor dances in Boomtown, and so that's basically recaps the Empty Child story, and then this is set in that period. I think a lot of stories are set in that period. I think all the Titan Comics stories they're basically one ongoing thing from Volume 1 to Volume 4 in these comics. But I think also some of the 9th Doctor novels from 2005 are also, I know the first 3 are just the Doctor and Rose, But then the second three are the Doctor, Rose and Jack, if I'm not mistaken. And I think they happen in this period as well. So, yeah, I mean, you can see some of the artwork there. So, so the basic, I think also the TARDIS always looks beautiful in these books. The basic sort of plot of this is there is like a planet that's missing, and they land on this spaceship with these robots, and you've got these metallic sort of centaur creatures, and they're at war with each other. There's a big attack there. Stuff like that. And then the end of this first part, they're all running back to the TARDIS. They dematerialise, but Rose has been left. The ship blows up, and then somehow Rose is lost in the vortex. Of course, she makes it back with him, but then they go to this planet here, and that is basically like an auction for weapons and stuff, for the weapons of mass destruction. You can see here as well, Bad Wolf bargains. Something I really like about the Ninth Doctor stories in expanded media is that you've got Sabine there as well, you can see. But I really love the fact that in the novels that were released at the time, and in these comics, they always make sure to include a Bad Wolf reference somewhere. I know it's something they did with the novels, which clearly at the time they were just like, yeah, make sure you include the phrase Bad Wolf in there somewhere. But of course the comics know that as well, so basically in every story I think you get a Bad Wolf reference somewhere. So here it is in the auction. And the Doctor, Rose and Jack are reunited. And then the Doctor works out that it's an auction with weapons from the Time War, and it all goes apeshit basically. And what he ends up doing is offering his own sort of memories and his own brain and memories of the Time War to these people. I can't recall, I mean, some of these visuals. Oh, I see, so he's using his vortex manipulator. It's a brilliant visualization of him using his manipulator to get from here into the TARDIS. Fascinating visual. And again, stuff like this is just, it's beautiful artwork. There's stuff where the Doctor is in like a white void, but I can't find that at the moment. And again, this has got great little cliffhangers as well. You know, the Rose aiming the gun at the Doctor. Stuff like that. They're just great little things to end on. Yeah, you've got Jack in this void here, white void. And they also play with stuff that we know about that happens after this. got his death in the Bind of the Waves, and you've got Children of Earth there. He's a lot more carefree though in these stories, Jack, than in Children of Earth. They really nail the fun of the Series 1 dynamic in these comics. So yeah, this story ends, but of course the ongoing thing continues. And these are just some of your alternate covers. They're all beautiful. And then these are some of your other, so you've got 8th Doctor range, you've got the ongoing 10th, ongoing 11th, ongoing 12th Doctor, you've got a 4 Doctors crossover, and the 8th Doctor comic limited run. So that's Weapons of Past Destruction, which was very successful and led to Volume 2, Doctormania, which is the start of the ongoing run, which I think was only lasted for about a year or so. Lasted 3 volumes basically. I just got collected volumes. Although this starts off, so again, slightly different. Gavin Scott again is the writer, I believe the writer for all of these. We got slightly different artists and colorists. Adriana Mello, Chris Bolson, Mateus Lopez, and Marco Lesca. Again, if I've butchered any of those names, I do apologise. Yes, so this first story is a story called Hacked, and it's part of a free comic book day release. So it's just a short little story. Yes, it's only 6 pages long. And then you get into the main story. This is Doctormania. And it starts, basically, they're being chased by this monster. And it starts with this message from Captain Jack. We don't find out what this is right until the end of Volume 4. So there's lots of ongoing mysteries. But they land on this planet, and this alien girl is fanboying over the Doctor because he's a character from Doctor Who, the TV show. You got the Chumbleys there. And you've got Doctor Who in the Whomobile. And so you've got 2 of them. The very clever way they differentiate it is that the one who's the Doctor Who one, who's obviously a fake, is in a turtleneck, and our Doctor's in his green jumper. And everyone's crowding around him. It is revealed, of course, that it's the Southene, because it's always the Southene with the 9th Doctor. That is something that I do find the Southene are very what's the word? The Southene basically seem to only be used in the 9th Doctor era. They're very, very in the Sarah Jane Adventures, but they're very they're showing up all the time in not only the TV series but expanded media as well. They're in the books, they're in these comics. They haven't yet shown up in the audios, but if they got Billy Piper in the 9th Doctor audios, I would put money on a Slitheen story sooner rather than later. They're always showing up. And you got these ones which are slightly different colour, they're sort of greyish, bluish. But yeah, of course the fake Doctor is the Slitheen. And then Rose ends up going with the fake Doctor to the Raxis Alliance, I think. Yeah, so you've got all these different sort of which start, or like vinegar rain, which starts attacking them. It's a little bit of an odd story, but of course they defeat the fake Doctor. Oh no! Yeah, and then that's the cliffhanger for the next story. Is Noel Clark? Oh dear. Yeah, you get Mickey, but this is Mickey from. Of course, he's in San Francisco, and it's Mickey from 2016. So it's post 10th Doctor Mickey. He's married to Martha at this point. Now he's fighting a weevil. And this is a story where there's lots of gargoyle people. Martha is a gargoyle, and there's people with superpowers. This story is called The Transformed, I believe. So you see here these people using their powers, but they discover that the people with powers eventually turn into these gargoyle monsters. And what I'm assuming was a cliffhanger is that Rose has the powers now. Oh yeah, here we go, here's the cliffhanger. They turn into monsters. And Rose is there with the powers, so she's gonna turn into a monster. You got Rose in the Ninth Doctor's clothes there. I don't recall exactly how this story ends. It features a return character from the previous story. It features the return of where is he? This guy is a character from Weapons of Mass Destruction. And then Rose thinks she sees Mickey, but she doesn't. And then Bristol, England, sometime in the 1970s, you got these monsters attacking, and it's a unit story. It's a classic unit story with you got Benton, you got Harry Sullivan, and of course these here cover gallery. The alternate covers, which I think it's great that they include this, and some behind the scenes artwork stuff, and again other ranges. 12th Doctor ongoing, 11th Doctor ongoing, 10th Doctor ongoing. I would love to read all of these as well, especially The Weeping Angels of Mons is a story I really want to read. But we go into Volume 3, Official Secrets. Which that is also the name of the unit story. Again, so we've got fairly consistent artists and colorists for the ongoing run of the Ninth Doctor. And of course Cavan Scott writing as well. So we start with this character who is called Tara, I think. She gets found by the TARDIS team. You got this gargoyle, so they're tracking the gargoyle, and then you get these massive monsters. They end up a unit, of course. But the Brigadier's nowhere to be seen. well, Jack goes to investigate something, and another big monster appears. I think Jack and Benton. This guy is controlling the monsters because they're not real, I think. As I say, it's been a while since I've read some of these stories. Of course, Jack is... They get attacked by the monsters. Well, the Brigadier has cropped back up again at this point. Has he? Where is he? Oh, there he is. But, yeah. It's very odd seeing the 70s unit with the 9th Doctor. I'm not sure. I think it is a bit fan fiction-y, but, you know, that's not necessarily a bad thing. They discover the plot, what's going on. And yeah, you've got this subplot going on with Tara Mishra, who's a unit officer. And they figure out what's going on. Save the day, of course. And Tara sneaks on board the TARDIS. They also find this photo of Captain Jack, so that's where they're going next. And this is a story called... It's set in Brazil. Well, am I going to be able to show you that? There you go. Brazil, 1682, with the conquistadors. I believe it's a conquistador, but they're like water monsters. This is called Slaver's Song. You've got Tara travelling in the TARDIS with them now. Rose isn't happy, she's getting very jealous, obviously, because that's what Rose does. And you've got these mermaid creatures and stuff. This was an interesting story, but it kind of passed me by a little bit almost. They discover, Rose and Jack discover this safe house where, so Jack was on like an undercover mission that he can't remember, and they discover this bunker in his safe house, and then they see this guy, and they learn that he was executed, Zloyvolk, executed 6 months ago by Captain Jack Harkness. And so there's a big sort of falling out there. Meanwhile, all this other water monster stuff is going on. But it's far less interesting than the Rose and Captain Jack plot, I thought. And at the end, Captain Jack teleports away. Because he's ashamed of killing a guy or something, I don't know. And then, in the little teaser for the next story, the Doctor is being arrested for the murder of Tara Mishra, who is this character here who's travelling with them. Again, great cliffhangers in the 9th Doctor range. Which brings us on to the final volume, Sin Eaters. So we start off with that story called Sin Eaters. Again, same writer, same colorist, same artist. You've got, what's this character called? Highsmith, director Highsmith. Okay. And she's in this prison, this space prison thing, because there's an Earth examiner coming. It's just Rose, disguise, and she is going to see the Doctor. He's a prisoner in this space prison. He's killed Tara Mishra, and they're doing these weird experiments on him. So they have these things called here. These like blank bodies, and what they're doing in this prison is taking all the negative emotions, all the bad stuff out of the prisoners' minds and putting them into these bodies, these sin eaters. But of course with the Doctor it doesn't really work. They've got the license to other Doctors' faces, so they're all in here. And they basically push it too far with the Doctor's Sin Eater, and he starts to go on a bit of a rampage. But this guard turns out to be Tara, who is not dead. But you've got the Doctor's Sin Eater, who's just going mental, unleashes all the other Sin Eaters, and I don't remember how they beat them now. Yeah, I mean, this is a bit of a silly image, isn't it? But of course, maybe they just blow up the prison, and it was all a plan to get into the prison to see what was going on. I think. Then you've got a little one-off story here, I think, which is called Secret Agent Man, which is just about Captain Jack and his misadventures, his many misadventures. And again, this Volk guy, this Loy Volk guy, who is the guy he killed. He erased him from time. But you can see you've got other missions. You've got him in the west with a Krilla Dane. You've got him with, I think that's meant to be Captain John Hart, the Weeping Angels. Talks a little bit about his the Shadow Proclamation there. It talks a bit about how he lost his memories. Again, you've got Captain John Hart there. And then him meeting up with the Doctor and Rose and stuff. But he's found his next target. It's the same guy, maybe. He's found his target and he's going to kill him, and then Doctor Who shows up. That might be at the cliffhanger to part one, I'm not sure. Oh wait, no, hang on. That was the cliffhanger to part one. He kills himself. He sees that a guy is going to kill. Someone's already poised to kill the guy, and it's him from the past or the future. And he kills himself. He shoots himself anyway. And then you get to this story, which is called, I don't know, but they're using these, I think this might be called Bidding War. They're using this technology. You can see Rose there is pregnant, but they're using these technologies to like relive other people's memories. And so they're doing that to find Jack. And so they're going into lots of other people's memories. And you can see Tara there wearing his clothes, and then bam! Empty child jump scare. And so they start to pin down all of his memories and find him. But eventually, this lady, this villain, captures the Doctor, and I think because of what he did in Weapons of Mass Destruction, when he offered up his mind and his memories of the Time War. He just invited all these other races and stuff. We're all here to collect. You've got these different aliens, and you've got the Cybermen there, although they're only there holographically. They've got stuff from a bit of War Doctor stuff, of course. That's a great vampire, isn't it? Maybe. Yeah. And so they're all bidding on the Doctor's memories. But then the Cybermen start to take over. Rose sees this, which is from... They start to make her experience like alternate timelines or something. And that is from here, if I can find it. In the supremacy of the Cybermen storyline, they basically win in every timeline. And there's at one point where they get Rose. She starts to get converted into a Cyberman, and I believe that is this, what this is meant to be. But it's just like an alternate timeline, because that never ends up happening anyway. It's weird. Sometimes the Titan comics can be a bit weird, and then it ends. Obviously they win the day. Tara decides she's going to stay because she's not in the rest of Series 1. So, yeah, she decides to stay at the end for now. And then, yeah, that was it. Again, you've got your final cover gallery. And all your other reader's guide, so you've got, all your ongoing ranges here in the collected volumes. You've got your specials, your 4 Doctors, Supremacy of the Cybermen, and then your, 8th Doctor, 4th Doctor, 3rd Doctor, limited series. So yeah. Anything else in here at all? Biographies and that monstrosity. So, those are the Titan Comics 9th Doctor stories. I just thought I'd show them, talk about them, a little bit of a different video. And as I said in the, I'm fairly sure I said in the Impossible Worlds book video, which should have gone out before this, there's been a lot of sort of audio only videos that I've done recently, where obviously there's been video, but it's not been me physically showing you something, so I want to try and do a bit more of those. So yeah, have you read these books? Do you like these books? Are you a comic fan? Yeah, let me know what you thought of these. Please do continue to like and comment and subscribe and share it around and all that stuff that YouTubers tell you to do all the time. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. And I will see you next time. Thank you.